Like our video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.
Portugal narrowly beats Croatia and advanced to the next round, but they're still experiencing plenty of problems on the pitch. Let's break it down. Portugal lined up in a 4-3-3, with both Vitinha and João Neves dropping deeper at times to dictate play as deep-lying playmakers. Nuno Mendes frequently drifted into the left half space, leaving the entire flank for Portugal's left winger. The same pattern appeared on the right side. The right back moved inside, while the right winger held the width and could also drop deeper to combine quickly with his teammates. That led to several good ball progression sequences for Portugal, just like in this example. The main issue was that Croatia's compact 4-4-2 block made it extremely difficult to find passing options between the lines. As a result, Portugal built most of their attacks through the flanks. Cristiano Ronaldo also played a key role here. For a center forward, he dropped deep remarkably often, making himself available both in deeper areas and between the lines to receive the ball and move the attack forward. However, whenever Portugal switched the point of attack, they often had opportunities to become much more dangerous. Rúben Dias had the ball in these situations particularly often. In this example, we can see that he has three possible passing options. Not all of Portugal's players occupied the spaces between the lines effectively. Even when there was space available, they didn't always position themselves well enough to receive the ball there, as we can see in this sequence. So whenever Rúben Dias stepped forward into space, very few teammates reacted by creating supporting angles or giving him a clear passing option. As a result, he often ended up playing the ball back to Vitinha, almost saying, "You're the playmaker, go and make something happen." This happened repeatedly, especially because of Portugal's right back. He frequently drifted inside and operated in the half space, but still failed to create enough effective passing lanes between the lines. He naturally drifted back towards the wing, which meant Portugal lacked an extra player occupying central spaces. Instead, he simply duplicated the right winger's position. They almost took the ball off each other, and Portugal lost possession. There were plenty of moments like this throughout the game, particularly involving Rúben Dias. Croatia's defensive structure wasn't perfect either. There were around 14 meters between their two holding midfielders, creating a clear passing lane into Bruno Fernandes. Players of Portugal's quality are more than capable of combining quickly between the lines. They just need those passes into central areas. Instead, Rúben Dias chose to switch the play, and Portugal's right winger received the ball into depth with a following cross. To be fair, those approaches still created danger. As we see here, Rafael Leão cuts the ball back into the second wave, and Bruno Fernandes had two excellent chances to score early in the first half. Even here, there's an easy pass available to Portugal's left winger, who has moved into a central position. We can also see several Portuguese players occupying spaces between the lines, ready for quick combinations. But if nobody plays those passes, those combinations can never happen. There's even an opportunity to play a diagonal switch because Portugal consistently had someone providing width and ready to receive those diagonal balls. One more point worth mentioning concerns Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes. Surprisingly, Ronaldo looked much younger, more energetic, and more intense than Bruno Fernandes. Ronaldo constantly vacated the center forward position, actively creating options between the lines. Bruno Fernandes, on the other hand, seemed glued to the striker's position. He simply stayed high as the center forward, and very little positive came from it. Throughout the match, Portugal did manage to find a few combinations between the lines. Here, Ronaldo drops into space, plays a one-touch pass between the lines, combines first time with Bruno Fernandes, and Portugal finally progresses through the middle. These are exactly the kinds of passes you'd expect to see much more often from a team whose midfield is considered one of the strongest in the tournament. As for Ronaldo himself, he was willing to drop deep, operate between the lines, drift into wide areas, and help with the build-up. That was a huge positive for Portugal's ball progression. The downside, however, is that when Ronaldo leaves the penalty area, Portugal no longer have a true striker occupying the finishing zones. In those moments, Bruno Fernandes, the central midfielders, and the wingers were expected to attack the box instead. But let's be honest, They simply struggled physically to compete for crosses. Here's another example where Cristiano Ronaldo drops deeper to help Portugal progress the ball. And then we look at Bruno Fernandes's positioning. It's the typical position of a center forward. But this is Bruno Fernandes, a player who should be creating, orchestrating, and driving his team's attacks. Instead, he's simply occupying the striker's position, waiting to receive the ball inside the box. Here, Nuno Mendes switches play with a diagonal pass to the right winger. And even though Ronaldo had dropped deep just a few seconds earlier to combine with his teammates, he still managed, at his age, to arrive inside the finishing zones in time. That's another important point. So, in my opinion, Ronaldo is clearly not Portugal's problem. Portugal pressed in a man-to-man system throughout the entire match. Both the center backs and the fullbacks stepped high to follow their direct opponents. Overall, Portugal executed this press quite well. They passed opponents on effectively, remained disciplined, and prevented Croatia from building comfortably from the back. That was probably crucial for Portugal because they wanted to dominate possession. Here we can see Portugal's left winger, Rafael Leão, tracking all the way back into the left-back position to intercept the ball. Every player clearly understood who they were responsible for marking, so everyone knew exactly who their direct opponent was. However, towards the end of the first half, Portugal's man-to-man press started to lose intensity, mainly because Ronaldo was no longer pressing aggressively. Let's look at this sequence. Ronaldo is supposed to initiate the press here. All of Croatia's central passing options are blocked, leaving only the long ball available. But Ronaldo closes the defender down far too slowly. It takes him more than 3 seconds to reach the ball carrier. Instead of sprinting aggressively to apply immediate pressure, he simply jogs towards him. In this type of pressing system, intensity is everything. You want the opponent to have no time to lift his head, assess the situation, and pick a pass. The goal is to force him to keep his eyes down and simply clear the ball, because he knows he'll lose possession within a split second if he hesitates. That's probably what Portugal lacked whenever Ronaldo was the player responsible for triggering the press. Croatia opened the scoring. The move actually started with a throw-in, where several Portuguese players completely switched off. They're looking at the assistant referee, arguing over whose throw it should be, while the Croatian player quickly grabs the ball and restarts play. That's already the first lapse in concentration. Croatia then developed the attack and delivered a cross towards the far post. Portugal's right back doesn't choose the best position, misses the ball, and Croatia scores. Portugal responded quickly and won a penalty. Let's focus on the key duel inside Croatia's penalty area. Croatian defender is clearly marking his opponent tightly. He's grabbing him, holding him back, and this is a clear goal-scoring opportunity because just look where the cross is going. The ball is delivered directly towards the Portuguese player, who has every chance of scoring. You can clearly see that he's being held with the defender's arm. But it's not just the arms, look at their legs as well. The Portuguese player is trying to attack the ball and jump in front of the defender, but he's physically prevented from doing so. So yes, that's a clear penalty. Cristiano Ronaldo converts it, although there are two interesting details here. First, the goalkeeper commits before the shot and starts diving early. Second, what do you think? Does it take incredible confidence to hit a penalty straight down the middle like Ronaldo does here? Or is it actually a sign of uncertainty, just trying to get the shot on target no matter what? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Personally, I don't like penalties like this. If the goalkeeper had simply stayed where he was, he could have saved it quite comfortably. Portugal found the winner. Rafael Leão receives the ball on the left wing and delivers a cross. At first glance, it doesn't look particularly dangerous because Croatia actually has numerical superiority inside their own penalty area. The cross travels towards the far post. One Croatian defender doesn't even jump. Another loses his position completely and offers virtually no resistance to Portugal's attacker. Gvardiol simply stands behind his man, does nothing to challenge him, loses the positional battle with ease, and Portugal score. It was genuinely poor defending from Croatia when dealing with crosses, and Portugal took full advantage to score their second goal. Then came the most dramatic moment of the match, the disallowed Croatian equalizer. Let's break it down. A cross comes in from the wing. We can see the offside line. We can see the player the cross is intended for. and ultimately the player who puts the ball into the net. But there's one crucial detail. This player does get a touch on the ball and redirects it. At the exact moment he makes contact, the Croatian player is already in an offside position. From the replays alone, it's difficult to tell whether there was actually a touch. But if you didn't know, the balls used at this World Cup are equipped with built-in sensors that detect every single touch. That's exactly what they're designed for, to help officials make accurate offside decisions in situations like this. The sensor confirms that there was contact at that exact moment. So yes, this player clearly touched the ball. On the one hand, this technology makes football fairer. On the other hand, it takes away emotion from the game. There's another important detail here. The ball then deflects off a Portuguese player. You might say, well, the ball came off the Portuguese defender, so surely it's no longer offside. But there's a key distinction. It's only a deflection. The Portuguese player never controls the ball or deliberately plays it. The ball simply rebounds off him accidentally. His action is completely unintentional, and by that point, the Croatian player is already in an offside position. So the referees made the correct decision in this situation. The crucial factor was the ball's touch detection sensor, which confirmed the exact moment of contact. Overall, we watched a very entertaining match with a fantastic and dramatic ending. Portugal advances to the next round, where they'll face Spain. Personally, I see very little chance of Portugal winning. They've looked far too predictable and lacking in creativity throughout this tournament. Leave a like, share your thoughts on the controversial decisions in the comments, and let me know whether you think Portugal have any chance of beating Spain. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth tactical analysis and football content from the World Cup.